Hi everybody. Today we are moving on to Unit 2, Lesson 3 of the Code.org curriculum. This is all about headings. Okay, so yesterday we've previously learned about some of the different HTML tags that we can use. Today we are learning about headings. A heading is a title or summary for a document or section of a document. Okay, so we talked, really, the main thing we talked about yesterday was like the body of your website. Okay, but sometimes we might want to put in things that are like headers or titles or a section title of some sort. These are headings. The tags that you're going to use for headings are H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, and H6. Now each of these have to do with the size of the actual font when you actually put it in your website. So like H1 is going to be the biggest font, whereas H6 then will be the smallest of those headings. Okay, so you can choose which size font you want for whatever type of heading you want. So like you might use this H1 for your main heading, and then maybe a subheading you use H2, right? It's just a little bit smaller. Okay, so I'll show you how to do this here, or the website will show you how to use each of these once we actually dig into the lesson. So what I want you to do is go to Lesson 3 of Unit 2 in the Code.org for the rest of the lesson. Now again, what I would recommend is that when you open up your Code.org, right, you're going to log in, sign in with Microsoft. It's going to be Lesson 3 headings. Again, I would recommend taking this and making this split screen with the actual video. This obviously isn't the video, but if this was the video in Canvas, make this on the left side, make your code on the right side, and then maybe adjust this a little bit so that you can actually work and have enough space to work in your code. I'm not going to do that though, just because I don't need to watch a video on the left side. I'm just going to keep it full screen for me. So just go ahead and click on this first screen right here, the lesson overview. So our question of the day is, how can we work together to fix problems with our websites? This lesson continues the introduction to HTML tags, this time with headings. The class practices using heading tags to create page and section titles and learns how the different heading elements are displayed by default. We already talked about what a heading is, and I already talked to you a little bit about the new code that we're learning today, the headings code. Here it has H1, and then the end tag is the /H1. Remember, they go inside those caret symbols. To open up the heading, you do the regular H1. To close off the heading, you do the /H1, just like we did with the paragraph yesterday, right? Yesterday we did the carets, and then we had the P to open it up a paragraph, or to start a paragraph, and then to end the paragraph, you had to do the carets with the /P, right? The same thing with the headings. Okay, let's continue on. What I want you to do is pause my video, and I want you to watch this video. As you're watching this video, this is going to talk about pair programming. Now, if you're a remote student, this might not apply to you specifically, because you won't necessarily have a partner next to you to work with. Okay, this is more for people in class, but if you do end up coming back to class, this is actually something that they do in a professional setting. So professional coders will do pair programming, and it's just a way of just double checking their code, making sure they're entering the right things in. You have somebody give you feedback on right away. So go ahead, pause my video and watch this video, and then click the continue button when you're ready. All right, so this HTML code has some bugs that are making the code pink. So let me pull this up a little bit. If you look at this body here, there's some pink code right here. What that means is that somewhere in here there is some errors, right? Here's a pink part right here. There's some pink parts right down here. It's telling us the pink means that there's some errors in this. What I want you to try to do is see if you can figure out on your own, see if you can figure out what the errors are. Pause this video, and then what I'll do here in a little bit is I'll go over what I saw. Alright, so hopefully you paused the video and you figured it out on your own, but one thing I see right away, so I see there's a pink P right here. That's saying there's some sort of an error here. If I look, each of these paragraphs each has a starting or an opening tag, except for this one. This one, it's got a closing tag here, but there's no opening tag. So what I want to do here is I want to go ahead and insert that opening tag. And now you can see that pink part went away. Okay. And then it also looks like the rest of the pink part went away as well. Fixing that one issue fixed everything. Okay. By the way, if there's any part here that you don't know, like what is a bug, what is debugging, okay, what are some examples of bugs, we're going to talk more about this here in a little bit. But if you want to actually read up on what some of these things are, then you can actually do that, right? Because here it says this HTML code has some bugs that are making the code pink. If you don't know what a bug is, read up. This says bugs are mistakes in code which causes it to not work as planned, right? Debugging then is the process of finding and fixing bugs. Debugging is a problem-solving process, so use your problem-solving steps as you try to debug. So each of these things gives you helpful hints if you don't know how to do a certain task. All right, page 4, or level 4. So far, you've organized your content into paragraphs. Another way HTML allows you to organize your code is by using headings. A heading is a short piece of text that goes at the top of a section of content, like a title. Right? So we kind of talked about headings already, right? So it says do this. Find the headings in the web page below and use the inspector tool to see the code that makes them. So if we turn the inspector code on here by clicking this button, what we can do is we can kind of see what's going on. So if I click on, let's see, these heading parts, what it does is it outlines it then in the actual preview mode over here. Okay, so it says make sure, it says change the code so that drawing and 2 years match the heading. So if we look at each of these, you see how I have different heading labels. Here's H1 and it gives it nice and big for us. Here's H2 and it's a little bit smaller. This one's H4 and it's even smaller, right? Baking here is H2, so that's another H2 just like soccer was. H4 right below, it's like a subheading, that's H4, 10 years. Okay, so what it wants you to do is change the code so that drawing and 2 years match the heading. So this and this, see how these two right here, these are just regular paragraphs? It wants us to make them headings. Okay, so change this code somehow so that the title or the headings match these headings up here. Go ahead and pause the video and see if you can do that. All right, so what you should have done, this should be the same, this drawing should be the same heading as baking. You see baking is H2, so I'm going to change this to H2, and then I'm going to close it off over here with H2. See how now it changed it, so baking now is the same size as, or drawing is the same size as baking. Years then, that's referring to a time obviously, and you can see the 10 years up here is H4, so I want this to also be H4. And then I'll close it off over here with an H4. Okay, so now we can see we have the same headers for each of these right here. Okay. All right, moving on to level 5. Headings can come in different sizes. In this page, there are 6 different sized headings, but they are all mixed up. Can you and your partner figure out how to fix them? So again, you're going to kind of do this on your own, since if you're remote, you don't have a partner, right? But I'm actually not going to go through this with you. I want you to rearrange these from biggest to smallest. So you can see right here, this is how it should be. Biggest, big, medium small, small, and smallest. See if you can rearrange these on your own by changing these tags. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video and do that now. All right, next, level 6 says look at the code below and predict how the headings will be displayed. Choose from one of the options on the right. So you can see how this code is displayed. What is this code going to look like? Which of these 4 options is going to be correct? So go ahead and answer that and then move on to the next one. All right, now hopefully you did that. This one, I want you to go ahead and watch this video. This video is a video about debugging. So we talked a little bit about debugging. This talks about debugging in detail and the importance of debugging and why it's okay to make mistakes when you're coding, as long as you make sure you're going in and debugging and finding out what the bug is and what the issue is. Okay, level 8 This says to choose from the following activities. So you need to choose or go through each of these activities. I would say it says try out what you've learned on one or more of the following activities. So you need to go through in one of these activities. So this says someone has submitted a bug report on this web page. Can you fix the bug? So you can see right here, excuse me, all of this is pink right here. So we can see there's some issues or some errors in here. So see if you can figure out what the issue is and debug it. Okay. So I would do one of these, at least one. Okay, I would recommend doing all of them if you have time, but make sure to go in and do at least one of them. And then level 9 says the author of this page added in a lot of content. You can see basically all this right here. It's basically just like a big wall of text, right? There's no formatting or anything. Okay, he didn't think about structure at all. All of the text is just mashed together. It says look through the content and decide what you think the best structure should be. So you're going to go in here, and I want you to just format it. Make it look good. Okay, you can see this is probably supposed to be, a heading. These things right here are also supposed to be headings, but they might not have, they're probably not supposed to be the same level of heading, but one of them could be H3, one of them could be H4, one of them could be H1, right? So see if you can figure out where should you insert paragraphs, where should you insert headings. Go through this and edit it or insert these different structures so that you can actually get some, so it's not just one big long paragraph like it's not supposed to be. Okay, so use your heading and paragraph tags to code the structure into the page. And pause the video while you do that. Okay, and then the last thing you're going to do for step 10 says here are some extra HTML codes to try out and a free play area to turn them in. Okay, go ahead and I want you to go through each of these. Okay, so if I click on this first one, it says in some situations like a poem or list, you'll want to start a new line inside the same paragraph, like you might do in poetry. You can use the line break tag for this. So this is going to teach you something new, right? It's give you a line break. Okay, so if we look, it says read the HTML and look for where the line break code is used to separate the lines in the poem. Then it says add 2 more line breaks to separate out the other lines of the poem. So right now we can see right here there's a line break, and when that happens, if I turn on the inspector mode, right, it's got but my page isn't looking that neat. Okay, it inserts it right here. Okay, so this gives us a full paragraph right here. That's what this whole thing is. Okay. But what it does is this line break just inserts it into a new line on its own, and then the rest of the paragraph picks up from there. So see if you can figure out where the other line breaks should be in here. Add 2 more in there, and then you'll be good for this one. And then what you'll do is you'll go back in here, and I would actually go through each of these, all 6 of these, and do it. Okay? So each of these, I think, yeah, each of these give you new codes to learn. So go through each of these, and then this last one is a free play for you to just kind of put in your own thing as you see it. Okay, when you're done, go ahead and click finish, and then that's it. Okay, we'll see you guys later. Let me know if you have any questions. Have a good day.